Since the assassination attempt on you and the loss of Chief Compitore, what you predicted after the first debate on the golf course, that they're going to ditch Joe Biden and Kamala is the candidate, has occurred. Very strangely, he stepped down from the candidacy on a post on Elon Musk's platform X. And then yesterday, he called in to the Biden new headquarters. She is apparently the anointed candidate. There are some on the conservative commentariat who say this is a far more dangerous opponent for you, the minority vote, the women's vote. Is it possible for Kamala Harris to separate herself from the disastrous Biden regime that she served as its deputy, for the dangerous incompetence she showed with regards to the border as the border czar? How do you think this opponent rates against the incumbent Joe Biden?
Well, I think it's polling about the same. I noticed I was 10 up and 11 up in polls, and I was about the same on Biden. A poll just came out where I was 11 up. So it's about the same on polls. I don't know that it stays there. It's very early. A lot of things happened in the meantime. This has been a very active period, to put it mildly. But I would say from the debate on, this has been a rather active period in the world of politics. The debate night was a very big moment, and then you had a series of events, and then, of course, you had last Saturday. That was a tough one. That was the shooting. That was real bad. And, you've had a lot of big things happen in the meantime. I think, look, she destroyed the city of San Francisco. She was the worst. She was the worst at everything. She was the worst vice president, and he was the worst president. By the way, he was the worst president we've ever had, and her ratings are lower than his ratings. So I don't know how she can do well, but maybe she can. It's a crazy world out there. She's terrible. You look at what happened to San Francisco, and a lot of people blame her. She was a prosecutor out there, and she was terrible, and she did a terrible job. San Francisco is a different place, not even livable in many ways. I hate to say that, but it's not even livable in many ways. They got to get that together. They're going to lose that city, and who would have thought 15 years ago you would have been saying something like that? And as you know, she was the border czar. And essentially, she never went to the border. She went once, but she went into a location where you would love to have dinner, very soft. There was a location where nothing was happening, and they knew that. So she essentially never went to the border. The border was the worst border anywhere in the world, probably in the history of the world, the most border. And I think you're going to have, by the time, hopefully, we get them out, you're going to have 20 million people coming in, many from prisons, many from jails and prisons. If you think of it, there is a slight difference. And also many from mental institutions and even insane asylums are emptying out into our country. And also many, many terrorists are pouring into our country. And she's the worst border person in history. And you ask guys like Tom Homan or Brandon Judd, they will tell you there's never been anything like it. She was the border czar. She knew nothing about the border. The border is the most devastating thing to happen to this country in so long. And I'd put up there also the way we withdrew in Afghanistan. I mean, there's so many things. Nothing good happened during this administration. Nothing.
Well, let's talk about the foreign affairs. When you were the president, when we were in the White House as part of your team, not only was America safe, the world was stable. No new wars for 4 years.
That's right.
Israel has experienced the greatest loss of life since the Holocaust on October the 7th. We've just heard that the vice president is going to boycott the prime minister of Israel's visit to Washington, D.C. You will be meeting with Benjamin Netanyahu on Thursday. How bad is it for international affairs and our allies, such as Israel, that Biden is the nominee for the Democrats?
Well, it's amazing, actually, that any Jewish person, any person that is Jewish, frankly, that has even a little respect, because, in this country, a lot of Jewish people are not big fans of Israel, which is something that they've never been able to explain to me. But that any Jewish person or any person that believes in Israel and loves Israel can even think about voting for a Democrat. Obama was horrible. He is horrible. Biden is horrible. Horrible. And they're not good for anyone else either. Actually, in Michigan, the Palestinians, nobody wants to vote for them. Neither side wants to vote for him, and that's probably one of the many reasons he got out. I mean, the obvious reason was obvious to all. It was a big con game. Keeping him in was a con game. But, no, it's pretty amazing that she refuses to meet with him. And they asked whether or not they could meet with me, and I said, certainly. You got to meet with both sides. You got to get it settled. You got to get it finished. You got to get it over with. They've got to do their job. October 7th would have never happened. You know, you were in the administration. October 7th would have never happened if we were there, Sebastian. Okay, I say plural. Yeah. But if I was president, October 7th would have never, ever happened. And by the way, Russia would have never attacked Ukraine either. And we wouldn't have inflation.
What is her culpability as well, not just with regards to the border, international affairs, but it seems that there's been a cover-up. We've been told for 3.5 years there's no problem with Joe Biden. Clearly, he's not fit to serve. That's why he's standing down. Is Kamala Harris not part of the cover-up concerning the fact that Biden was unfit to serve, Mr. President?
Everybody is. Everybody. Everybody that dealt with him is. And I saw it immediately during the debate. The debate was a big moment because that sort of revealed things. And, you know, he didn't do exactly well in the debate. But I got that very early. And, look, everybody is. You know, what about his doctor? He's a doctor that keeps writing out these wonderful doctor reports. Tell me about him. And this took place long before this. This took place when he was locked up in his basement during COVID, where he would never come out. And he was in a basement for a long period of time. I'd say, when is this guy coming out to speak? And he virtually didn't come out. It's a very sad state of affairs for this country. And look what's happened in the last period of time. Look what's happened in the last 3.5 years to our country. We've been overrun with hundreds of thousands and millions of, frankly, criminals from jail, mental institution, people from mental institutions. I mean, and by the way, terrorists at a level that nobody has ever seen before, Sebastian. They're looking at the records. Yeah. Nobody's ever seen terrorists coming into our country at the level that they're coming in right now.